Fighting types are fun, and their physical prowess can blow away most foes that get in their way. Hey, what's up everyone? Jukem here with a Pokémon Violet hardcore Nuzlocke featuring only Fighting-type Pokémon. There are a great number of cool, new, and returning fighters, and all of them have something different to bring to the table. It'll be a spectacle as we get started, but do note that Great Tusk, if you choose to play with Paradox Mons in this type of challenge, is exclusive to Scarlet. Passimian, on the other hand, is for Violet enthusiasts. As for the rules of hardcore Nuzlocke, you can see all of those on screen right now. The most notable thing to keep in mind is that I am doing everything, so level caps will include gym leaders, Titan Pokemon, and Team Star bosses, as well as the Elite Four and final boss fight against AI Turo. A ton of brutal battles are about to unfold, so I'll keep the fluff between encounter/bosses to a minimum. Let us get started with these fisticuffs. As an old man barges into my house and makes me besties with Goku and Satsuki Kiririn's horrifying fusion, we receive our starter Pokemon of Quaxley, who we name Elena. And while we also meet Marissa the Palmy on Poco Path, neither are fighting types yet, so they'll be shoved into the box as we encounter our true starter of the run, T-Hawk the Flamigo. Flamigo stats this early on make it a breeze for handling the beginning fights with Nemona and other trainers before the treasure hunt starts up. Freed from school after arriving for a whole week, these open world games mean we find a fair amount of fighters before our first boss. This includes Ken the Riolu from South Province Area 4, E Honda the Makuhita from South Province Area 2, and Sakura the Minky from West Province Area 1. I am gonna get very tired of saying province as a heads up. After scouring the provinces, it's time to just floor Katie's feeble bugs with terra-flying wing attacks. I told y'all Hawk would be busted this early on, as Nimble, Tarantula, and Teddiursa all faint in a single strike to earn us Badge 1. Ken was above the level cap here, but who cares? Our momentum with a freaking Flamingo extends to the Stony Cliff Titan Clough, who just wastes their turns on so many occasions. The numerous double kicks, along with Arven's assistance, is enough to take down the first Titan with the utmost ease. And we're not done yet. Brassius is unlucky enough to also be weak to our beautiful boy. Ken is currently on the run from the police in Street Fighter 6, and if this is why, I completely understand the misconception of mistaking Hawk for an illegal weapon of mass destruction by his side. We haul Assius with Brassius's Graciuses, and say gracias to Brassius for giving us badge number 2. Afterward, East Prominent Area 1 is where we befriend Balrog the Paldean Tauros, who despite appearances cannot handle some whittled ghosts in auto battles. He is really struggling, just as much as I am struggling in how to transition into today's sponsor. No, we don't have one, but do let me know what your favorite fighting type is for the question of the day. Mine's Lucario. He's just such a cool Pokemon, and the movie makes me cry, but I would prefer making a transition to an evolution we have than projecting on the internet about depressing topics like dog deaths in my Pokemon movie. But also subscribe to see more of my suffering in these Nuzlocke videos if you'd like. The support is always welcomed. Anyway, the level cap is now high enough for Marissa to evolve into Pomo, before taking her out on a nice, relaxing walk before stuffing her face with candy until she becomes a Palmod. She will be our ace in knocking the Open Sky Titan Bombardier out of the sky. Terra Electric even removes our flying neutrality while boosting Marissa's Thundershocks, eventually leading to another free win for our team against the second Titan. After Arven shows me the other dying dog that has reminded me of a Hoenn movie I don't want to think about again today, it's time to cruise into Team Star's Dark Base. Giacomo only has 2 Pokemon, and Poniard is quad weak for Balrog's double kick to one-shot him. The Starmobile is annoying with Intimidate, but switching to Marissa for some arm thrusts is safe until this critical hit brings her down to 7 HP. Going back to Balrog is super safe since he's very bulky, granting us the turns we need for some more double kicks to break down the Starmobile and defeat the first Team Star boss. We then catch Makoto the Crabrawler at South Providence Area 5, and after a life-threatening trip to obtain the Ice Stone at Dalipaza Passage, she evolves into Crabominable. Ken also becomes a Lucario, who might have a mystery to unveil, but we can figure that out some other day when we aren't being harassed and doxxed by Iono's fans. The gym challenge let Honda steal the show with his evolution to Hariyama, but all eyes are on us as Iono totally gets wrecked. Her Wattrel is super frail, enabling us an easy knockout with Marissa's Spark. Bellibolt is a bit bulkier, allowing him to survive a dig, but Water Gun deals very little damage, making Marissa 2 for 2 in this gym battle. Luxio then comes out next. The Intimidate means the upcoming dig doesn't one-shot, but Luxio's bite does very little in return. A 2-hit arm thrust puts her down, bringing in the soon-to-have 0 weakness Miss Magius, who is very tricky. Marissa ends up with a 5-hit arm thrust that leaves Miss Magius slightly above half. Miss Magius then Confuse Rays, meaning it's time to switch out and send out E Honda. Hex deals very minimal damage here. We take a freebie turn with Fake Out, and then on the following turn after Terrestrializing, Honda tanks another Hex as he attacks his electrically ghost foe with a Macho Force Palm that deals mucho damage for the KO. This cuts Iono's Spotlight short for our third gym badge. The next boss on our list, Mela, is the first major hurdle we have. Torkoal's Draught will empower the Starmobile majorly, so we have to stall a tiny bit to get rid of it. The Starmobile itself has speed boost, so it's a case where a boss can snowball greatly if things go even slightly wrong. But Marissa is the key to my success in this bout. A combination of Protects and Digs are capable of stalling Sun while simultaneously delivering decent damage to Torkoal. Flame Wheel deals a lot to Marissa under Sun, but we can survive another by the time a second dig connects as the sunlight is cleared away. And it's actually ideal that the second dig didn't KO here. Torkoal is now low enough on HP for Volt Switch to knock her down, and this allows me to position myself for the Starmobile before it even comes out. I'm sorry, hello? Now, I like cheesing out the AI whenever I can, but I never cheat out the AI, if you get what I mean. In the game, where set battle mode was removed, by the way, these Starmobiles will ignore your ability to switch out, even with something like Volt Switch, apparently. This is a terrible position. A Rev Room should be slower than a Palmot at these levels, so unless the Starmobiles each have different stats, we can still Volt Switch for some damage before Marissa gets harmed. I was understandably upset. Well, Palmot would have been nice to have for later, but, you know, cheating AI. We do still have what it takes to combat the stupid car, with Makoto's Terrestrializing into fighting to remove her fire weakness. Some Brick Breaks put it down low, so after switching out after getting screeched at, I figure out these things are also apparently immune to flinches. Anger. Luckily, the team just switches around whenever screeched at until the Starmobile is defeated by our fighters. A stupid death from a stupid car, but we still took down the second Team Star boss. At least we can encounter a valuable ally in Q the Phalanx at East Protractor Area 3. They are a Terra Steel variant and have battle armor, so they'll be perfect for defensive maneuvers and setups. But I can't help but feel a bit annoyed that they had Reversal and could have destroyed my team after I weakened them. But anyway, Elena also evolves into Quaxwell, though she still can't be used, and we catch a male Curlia named Vega at East Processor Area 2. As for the lurking Steel Titan Earthworm, they are blasted by Ken's Aurasphere in Phase 1, while Phase 2 is also a breeze thanks to our special Fighting-type attacks. That's the third Titan down, and it's a footnote compared to the Terra Rock Relum we catch at West Provocation Area 3. His name is Nash. We also find a Dawnstone for the beautiful Vega to earn his blades as a Gallade, along with the evolution of Sakura into Primate, whose nose sure is sniffing more than I remember. Maybe she is sad. I mean, I would be too if you saw how I handled Kofu. His Veluza is brought down in one shot via Vega's Leaf Blade, and the same can be said for the upcoming Wugtrio after taking a headbutt. However, Gooey activates, and this makes me unsure if Vega can outspeed Kofu's Crabominable. We switch into Nash on a Water Terrad Crabhammer that looks to be a 3-hit KO. It's safe to stay in since Crabominable doesn't have ice coverage, but a 2-hit Bullet Seed doesn't even deal half his HP. He also wakes up right away, so one more Crabhammer will KO Nash, and in the off chance Bullet Seed only gets 2 hits again, I Spore him yet again and switch to Ken. But, I am not smart, nor brilliant, nor even somewhat high IQ, because Crabominable wakens early again and nails Ken with a Crabhammer. And he lives on 1 HP. This is pure luck after some poor planning, but Ken comes through fast with a potent Aurasphere that cracks open that crab's shell. I am testing my limits here, but my 4th gym badge didn't come with any losses. Now, early on, I do tend to care less for EV training and even held items, the latter mostly due to the lack of good ones until later in some Pokemon games. The Delibird shops fixed this, but I was still not thinking most of this through. Like, I gave Hawk a Quick Claw randomly as an example. I'm just not the brightest. And that lack of preparation makes me have to work harder unneededly, though I won't admit that that was the reason I was put into this very unfortunate circumstance. Trying to find our next team member in Tag Tree Thicket, I run into a random wild Pokemon. I run away, but look what just so happens to be there as soon as I leave the battle. A Terra Bug level 40 plus Grafii. And 2 failed escapes later, this monkey knocks out our resident Spore Spammer Nash right when he would have been insanely useful. Maybe I should just cyborg him up like the actual Nash, cause Atticus's poison types feel a bit tricky to deal with. Blanca the Passimian was not worth this death. You should feel ashamed. I will need some luck as we square up with Atticus. The Larper leads with Skuntank as we send out Vega. We take much more damage from a Sucker Punch than I thought we'd take before Sacred Sword puts Skuntank close to fainting. Knowing Sucker Punch will continuously be used, it's time to set up some Calm Minds. We end up with 3 before Skuntank goes for Toxic, which is healed off via a P.E.K.K.A. Berry. A Sacred Sword the next turn knocks Skuntank out, and +3 special attack is also enough to KO the upcoming Muck in one hit with Psychic. Things are looking up from here. Until I realized after clicking Psychic again against this Revavroom that the car Pokemon wouldn't actually be slower than a man. My brashness caused Vega to fall to an Iron Head, which is just... I'm just gonna say, it was a straight up stupid issue I could have avoided if I just EV trained. No use dwelling on it, or his sharpness ability I was gonna love using, so Balrog plugs up the stupid car's exhaust with Stomping Tantrum. The other, more toxic, stupid car is last, but it's seemingly a lot weaker than the other one, even with Noxious Torque, which just leads me to believe that these guys actually do have different stats, but I'm not too sure. Either way, the efforts of E-Honda, Ken, and T-Hawk are enough to whittle it down to a broken mess. Just like me after losing Vega. That's the third of Team Star defeated, but at a cost. On the bright side, the level cap grants Sakura access to Rage Fist. So after spamming that 20 times against these olives, one more level turns this sweet gal into a master of the Satsue no Hado in Annihilate. We can also finally use Elena, now a Quaquaval, so things are looking brighter. Doesn't make up for my past idiocy though. And the stupidity extends to our brawl inside the Denny's against Larry, so scratch things looking brighter. I somehow messed up against the normal type gym leader with fighting types, which is quite impressive, I'm not gonna lie. The lead Komala isn't an issue for Elena and her low suite, but I will say this and the turns with the Dunsparce lost some frames, so apologies. But what you need to know is that the stupid Dunsparce ruins my plans that I had for Larry Staraptor in the back. She hits a glare after surprisingly living a low sweep, then strikes Elena next turn with Hyper Drill for half her health before going down. What I was going to do with Staraptor was Terra Watering, baiting him to hit Elena with Wing Attack and then return the damage back double via counter. But now Elena is paralyzed and already damaged, so cue my numerous switches into the bird's fierce flying attacks. It's especially annoying when I see Facade here after protecting with Makoto, so I go into Sakura to absorb the blow, but nah, Larry is quirky and chooses Wing Attack the next turn anyway. Either of those could have killed Makoto, but stay consistent, Larry! This sticky situation results in me having to sack the member of my team I thought I'd need the least in Makoto. Sorry girl, I am just more unprepped for these battles than I initially thought. And it gets worse. A Terra Fighting boosted double kick from Balrog isn't enough to KO Staraptor. Balrog took a Wing Attack, but he isn't faster, so we require another sacrifice. And that duty falls to our starter, Hawk the Flamigo. We swap him in, and he survives a Facade. However, the only way we can win is with Ken the Lucario's Vacuum Wave for priority, so a safe switch like this is needed. I'm sorry. Thunderhawk, I'm... You beautiful... Shouting into the mic time, let's go. Anyway, you beautiful, wonderful stallion! Greater than everything else. Who needs another sack when a Quick Claw, that reminder I gave him on a whim, clutches the clutches clutch, saving Hawk's life and questionably earning us our 5th gym badge. Oh my god, I'm peaking. Anyway, I'm gonna continue ignoring EV training and keeping these guys in perpetual danger. To add on to our list of potential victims, we meet Dalzin the Meditite at West Prometheus Area 2, DiCapri the Krogunk at Casaroya Lake, and R. Mika the Halucha in North Promotion Area 3, though the latter two are above the level cap. Then it's time to embarrass myself once more against one of my favorite gym leaders, Rhyme. Specifically for a rap battle. The gym battle is no problem for us. Terra Fighting Sakura with her Rage Fist and Hawk's Paybacks are able to sweep through Rhyme's entire team, with Sakura gaining more power with each consecutive hit she takes, because Rage Fist is a very balanced move. An incredibly easy win for a 6th gym badge. The Iron Treads Titan is also pretty easy with Terra Fighting Pokemon. Ken's Aura Sphere obliterates Phase 1 while we play the slow game with E-Honda in Phase 2. Arvin even came in with a lucky burn, so I don't have to mash the Drain Punch button again, melting away the Steel Paradox Pokemon. That's 4 Titans defeated. But the pain must eventually return, as our second to last battle with Nemona jump scares me. I thought I looked this up and this little Teate would be during the 8th gym, not 7th. I must have gaslit myself into thinking her Pokemon would be level 47, so I am very unprepared for this battle. While most of her team is a breeze for us, the biggest danger is Skeledirge. This guy can snowball very harshly with Torch Song's special attack boost, rolling and rolling until he can one-shot my entire team. He's so bulky too, yet also slow, meaning we have a chance to strike him down before things get too wild. I get positioned for Elena to be in while Skeledirge is only +1. Thinking Elena could survive another hit single, we Aqua Step to put him very low. But alas, We needed the clean knockout. Despite the resistance, a torch song is too much for Elena. The Dancing Queen was brought to her knees as the life in her steps out. We handle it from there, but we keep losing ally after ally, getting sadder and sadder the longer I hold off on EV training. So many knockouts I could have avoided if I just done that. Let's just begin our battle with Tulip before I get too emotional. The plan is to knock out her lead Farigiraf with Hawk's U-turn, using a focus sash to survive an attack to then pay back to bring her down first. But Farigiraf survives both hits. Would have worked with EVs, but I got a backup plan in the form of Blanca. He won't like this. See ya, Blanca, it's your fault I got wombo comboed by Grafaiai, so you'll pay the consequences. Though this is another sign that I severely need to EV train, cause fun fact, despite everything in the past, I still haven't done that yet. But we're in the clear. Hawk U-turns yet again to create a path for Sakura the sweep. A Choice Scarf means we outspeed and take out Tulip's remaining 3 Pokemon each with a Phantom Force, rewarding us with Gym Badge number 7. Before our final Gym Badge, we have the evolution to one of our most important team members, Dalsum becoming a powerful Metachamp. And breaking news to y'all, but I decide that this is the perfect opportunity to EV train the current Mons on my team, so we are ultra buff for our brutal battle against Grusha. Though, unlike Larry, this is brutal for the trainer who is weak to fighting types. Fire punches, low kicks, and brick breaks from Dalsum showcase his pure power by destroying the entirety of Grusha's team. Sorry Grusha, but this is a very anticlimactic way for us to earn our final Gym Badge. Afterward is also our last team member of the run, who conveniently came from a Terra raid on Glaciado Mountain. Sagat the Heracross is Terra Water, which is valuable when dealing with his fire weakness and other awkward Pokemon that we'll encounter in the future. This then brings us to Ortega. This battle will show you just how underrated Phalanx is. As all of Ortega's Pokemon are physical and Q has Terra Steel, we are capable of setting up to +6 defense with Iron Defense. Battle Armor stops any crit shenanigans while we possess Rest for healing. We are then able to mow down the Rich Boy squad of adorable Mons and a stupid car with Iron Head. Mudslap accuracy drops from Dash Bun do make this a wee bit longer, so to speed it up, Smart Strike's inability to miss would have been more optimal. But in the end, Ortega can't overcome Q's bulk and is the 4th Team Star boss to wave the white flag. Aerie wants some revenge for her fallen comrade though. Her lead Toxicroak comes out and then goes away in the face of Ken and his Psychic. Next is Passimian, the Unholy. He is setup fodder for our brought out Sakura. Annihilape is an incredibly busted Pokemon in situations like this, tanking attacks to crank up Rage Fist power while also using Bulk Ups for increased attack and defense. Leftovers recovery also aids in this, so once we get to a comfortable amount of boosts, Aerie's Pokemon get slaughtered one by one by the Satsui no Hado. Team Star is officially off the map with their final boss's not so honorable defeat. Our last battle before the story finales is the False Dragon Titan duo of Dondozo and Tatsugiri. With a Terrestrialized Sagat resisting Dondozo's water attacks, leftovers for recovery, and Swords Dance, the first phase is completely free with some powerful physical moves. We do the same thing again for phase 2, minus the Swords Dances. Arvin was kind enough to tail whip when we protected the wasted turn for Greedent to just be a meat shield. More physical power thanks to a squirrel, more freed up Dondozo on my platter. No matter how polluted the waters are, Terra Water Heracross is cleaning up all this filth. And this stays true for when Tatsugiri swims out to play. Their attacks are stronger than Dondozo's, but they're also much frailer, getting defeated by muscle power even quicker than the last 2 phases. And that is curtains for all the Titan Pokemon of Paldea. Our Bike Lizard is epic, and there's a good boy saved. But will I be able to save myself from my own stupidity for the Elite Four? Let's find out. I will be tackling Arvin, Clavel, and Cassiopeia after the Elite Four, not attached to this current level cap. We'll be gaining so many levels from the Elite Four that I figured I would save myself from a headache trying to manage all of it. Those fights, plus Nemona, will be part of the level cap for the final boss. I hope that makes sense, but besides that, and the numerous deaths, we still have a spectacular selection of Pokemon to handle the rest of the game's fights. Good time to also mention that I did use bottle caps and nature mints whenever possible, but yeah, these will be the Pokemon I'll have by my side for the Elite Four. You can switch Pokemon mid-Elite Four, but I didn't find that fun, so these 6 are going to be the Mons attempting to achieve victory. Most of them are old faces who have already shown their greatness, while our newly evolved Decapray the Toxicroak will make her debut. With all that said and done, these guys are rockin', so let's march onward, valiant fighters. Rika is on our plate first, who sends out Whiscash as we lead with Dalsum. This is a free KO with Trailblaze, fainting Whiscash as we simultaneously increase our speed. Camerupt is second, but the poor girl's defenses are worse than you'd think, so a close combat is enough to claim another knockout. Then third is a sturdy Dawnfan. We Ice Punch her for some damage before surviving an Earthquake, which was guaranteed anyway due to our Focus Sash. On the next turn, we can then take her out with another Ice Punch. Sturdy definitely makes me think a lot when it comes to planning. Anyway, up comes Dugtrio, who does have Sucker Punch. I swapped a Sagat on an Earthquake though that he tanks with ease. One Terrastalize animation and a fierce Water Terra Blast later, and Dugtrio is down for the count. Last up is Rika's Clodsire. The Poo-Poo Mudfish is done for before he can even do anything, as we switch into Decapre. With an Air Balloon, Dry Skin, and our Poison typing, Earthquake, Liquidation, and Toxic are literally incapable of harming Decapre. After the AI's relationship to the Protect button crumples before my very eyes, Close Combat one-hit KOs Clodsire, defeating the first of the Elite Four. The next Elite Four is the spookiest and the toughest to figure out for my squad. Steels are weak to fighting, but with almost half of Poppy's team not even having that weakness, it's brutal, especially when there are flying, psychic, and fairy attacks to deal with. But my plan for this will have zero issues as Sagat comes face to face with Capraja while burned for a guts boost. Excuse me, game, why is my bug not burned? Apparently, I was stealth healed before the beginning of the Elite Four. I did not remember asking to be healed, game, but thanks! This throws a wrench in my plan, so I'm forced to play risky in the fight I was most terrified of. Luckily, I did notice right before challenging Poppy to think things through, but I'm still miffed. Anyway, Focus Sash lets Sagat take any hit before setting up spikes for the sturdy Magnezone in the back. I did not know he learned this move, but it's very helpful here. On the next turn, a close combat pummels Capraja to dust. Up comes the terror that is Corviknight. Brave Bird from this thing is no joke, but if there is someone who can survive a non-crit, it's Sakura. She takes just shy of half, which is good enough for a bulk up. We get a fair bit lucky Corviknight didn't crit, but through leftovers and protect, we stay as healthy as possible while living another hit to power up Rage Fist. With a bulk up and Brave Bird recoil, Terra Fighting Drain Punch knocks Corviknight out while giving Sakura that yummy soul energy to heal with. Then, Bronzong gets Rage Fisted, Sturdyless Magnezone flatlines after a Drain Punch, and Terra stealing your lasting not weak to fighting initially sure wasn't the play you thought it was. Tinkaton is down and out, and so is Poppy. The next Elite Four member is much less complicated than Poppy at least. Larry is just me clicking Ice Punch or Close Combat over and over again with Dalsum to demolish most of his team, with a White Orb to negate Staraptor's Intimidate. When the Flamigo comes out, I'm unsure if Ice Punch KOs, so to play safe, we use Endure. This is crucial, as we now live Brave Bird here, causing Flamigo to receive recoil. Then it's an Ice Punch for an easy knockout and a very easy victory against Larry. Gonna call this revenge for earlier, despite it literally being my fault. I'm coping. Last for the Elite Four is Mr. Hassel and his dragons. Beginning with Decapre versus his Noivern, a Choice Scarf lets us outspeed and freeze her over using Ice Punch. Flapple then gets baited out next due to Aerial Ace, but another quad-weak Ice Pokemon is just asking to get punched in the face by a Sub-Zero Fist. Dragalge is third, which is perfect. We led Decapre to bait the eventual Dragalge into Dragon Pulse, as on the switch to Sakura, she eats that for breakfast. Didn't want to risk Sludge Bomb poisoning, so a poison resistance was ideal here. And now, we bulk up and rage up for a bit. Sakura, there's no going back. Feel the Satue no Hado, the murderous intent, flow through you and command you to slaughter Dragalge and Haxorus. Annihilate is so busted. Good job, me. I've created a monster. With Baxcalibur out now, I do decide to play safe with my original plan for him. Dalsum can come in without worry thanks to a Focus Sash, meaning a Terra Dragon Glaive Rush won't comically overkill him. The drawback of taking double damage after Glaive Rush then allows Dalsum to OHKO Baxcalibur with a close combat. This gives us a deathless victory over the Elite Four. Destroy their souls, Sakura, and get ready for more spiritual destruction, as Geeta is the top champion to demolish. She's got an interesting team, but as she leads Espathra, it's going to be a breeze for Q to handle. A Life Orb first impression is just what we need to strike her down before she can even think. Q's pure fighting typing bakes in Go-Goat next, which is just what I was hoping for. We Terra Steel Q up, a type that Go-Goat has nothing to deal with. Just like Ortega before her, Geeta has a ton of physical attackers. Only Espathra and her ace Glamora use special attacks, granting us the perfect chance to Iron Defense to +6 defense. We also taught Q Body Press, which uses our defense instead of attack for damage. Even with some bulk ups from Go-Goat that let him survive a hit, he's still helpless and goes down to a second Body Press. Geeta's Avalugg, Veluza, and King Gambit are even more useless in the face of my armored 6 little dudes. Finally is Geeta's strongest Pokemon, Glimmora. The Steel typing will bait Glimmora into Earth power, so it's a great time for a sequel in Air Balloon Decapre. And with Encore, we force Glimmora to act as helplessly in the spotlight as the rest of his comrades. A single close combat from Decapre is enough the next turn. Played safe just in case, but either way, we've taken down the top champion, earning us our champion rank. This was a really good run of the Elite Four. Patting yourself on the back can seem a bit lame, but stuff like this is tough and I spent a whole day thinking things through, so I'm pretty proud of it. You know, if I did the same thing since the start of the challenge, maybe I wouldn't have 6 whole deaths right now. But hey, it's alright, we're a champion. That isn't the end as I mentioned though, so let's see how we do against Arven to put an end to the Path of Legends. And it's actually fairly simple. You see this team? This is asking to get humiliated by fighting types. Decapre is especially perfect here due to her Ice Punch for Toedscruel. Otherwise, 4 fighting weak Pokemon and a low defense pupper are all destroyed by a close combat each. Even you poor pupper. GG's, Arven. Then comes Director Clavel, which is another case of, wow, thanks game, I don't remember asking to be healed. Poor Gut Strats can't be done this run it seems, but Sagat will take out his anger on this Oranguru, one-shotting him with Mega Horn. Second is Houndoom. We Terra Water fearing a Fire Blast, but Sagat is too fast for the Fire Doggo and Brick breaks him for another Oko. But Terra Water also baits out Abomasnow, who needs to get out of here. Christmas just passed by. Close combat takes him out without worry. Fourth from Clavel is Gyarados, who does pose a problem for Sagat due to Intimidate. However, we can take advantage of the AI's thoughts here, first switching to T-Hawk for his cameo appearance by being immune to Gyarados' Earthquake. This will now bait Gyarados into Aqua Tail, so we pivot to Decapre to absorb it with Dry Skin. Then we Encore so he remains in a most awkward predicament, but not for me. This is the opportunity to stack 2 Swords Dances. Encore ends after the second, but we outspeed and knock Gyarados out with a Thunder Punch. Next is Poltegeist, but with our boosted attack, another Thunder Punch shatters this expensive pottery, if this one isn't a forgery at least. Last is Meowscarada, a very frightening Pokemon if he gets the chance to attack. Decapre is faster though, so a single Poison Jab is more than enough to take out the Fancy Magician, defeating Director Clavel. But Team Star's story ain't done yet. Cassiopeia, no, Penny, wants a fight as well with her team of evolutions. And do you know what we do? We have Q do Q things. Perhaps questionable to many, but Penny's Umbreon can't do much to them when they're Terra Steel. Along with Iron defenses, Q also agilities a bit to ensure they're faster than Penny's Jolteon. After that, it's time to click Body Press, making sure to cease the rampage on Leafeon to heal back up to full with rest just to be safe. Then we unpause your regularly scheduled sweep. Even Sylveon doesn't have the time to do a single darn thing to Q thanks to a Body Press critical hit. Thinking about it though, having 6 jocks running over your whole team of beloved friends is possibly the saddest way this battle could have gone. Cause you know, getting bullied. We bullied her, she was helpless, I am terrible, Q is terrible. But luckily the characters aren't self-aware about these minute tangents of mine, so with Starfall Street complete, Nemona has been waiting for our final battle on equal footing as champions. Let's make it a great one for her. And I must say this again, but thank goodness the characters aren't self-aware with how I play and what I say, because man, Sakura just steamrolls her entire team. Lycanroc is Nemona's lead with rock attacks and drill run. He is cooking absolutely nothing. As for me, we've got some bulk up seasoning along with the pent up rage and aggression of a 4chan user. You can't imagine how this fight goes. Drain Punch, Lamau. Drain Punch, Lamau. Rage Fist, Lamau. Rage Fist, Lamau. Sorry, Nemona! It's very anticlimactic like this at the finale of the Victory Road story, but there's one last battle. AI Turo. The final boss of this story's finale that gave me chills going through the ending sequence a second time. His team of Paradox Pokemon will be the toughest challenge, at least post me deciding to EV Train. Anyway, let us begin this duel to decide Paldea's fate. Turo starts off the battle strong with his Iron Moth, while I put my faith in Decapre with a Choice Scarf. This speedy mechanical moth looks like a snail to Decapre, who hides away with Dig before striking the next turn, which easily knocks them out due to their quadruple ground weakness. Another quadruple ground weakness Pokemon in Iron Thorns is up next, but not only will Dig not KO, they're just that bulky, but Earthquake would hit Decapre underground anyway. The play is to swap into Dulcim on the obvious Earthquake, with a Sash to make this riskless. On the following turn, a close combat is too much for the Iron Thorns to handle, knocking them out. Third is Iron Bundle, that silly little Robo Delibird. And this is it. The moment I intentionally make the decision to let someone I care about go. Dalsum, we need that safe switch for this insanely fast and powerful opponent. I know you'd understand. One turn later, Drill Peck pierces Dalsum, ending his life. It took 7 deaths, but this one truly felt terrible for all the right reasons in a Nuzlocke. As you can see, I am in physical pain over this ordeal, but soon I shall become emotionless as I continue to do more Nuzlockes like so many others. But we have more to do. We send out Q holding an Aspire Berry, tank a Freeze Dry, and get revenge on Dalsum's kill with a brutal close combat for the one-shot. Iron Jugulis comes forth, and here we are in this predicament again. A safe switch is needed. Q, I'm sorry. Huh. So close combat doesn't KO Iron Jugulis after this maddening dodge, but wow, can I just say wow? When a trooper like Q here lives when unintended, I can't help but feel they don't ever want to let go. So I decide to save these privates. This does risk a flamethrower on the switched in Ken, but we go unpunished, granting us the opportunity to bring down Iron Jugulis with a vacuum wave. Fifth up is Iron Hands. They'll for sure go for Fake Out or Drain Punch, so we switch into Sakura on the latter. And it sure would be nice if Dalsum wasn't the only super attached Pokemon I chose to sacrifice. Iron Hands can deal so much damage to my entire team, and they are too bulky to try to take out safely. But a final Gambit? That'll do, Sakura. This is the real Satsue no Hado. Thank you for everything, Sakura. You'll find your angelic self in the afterlife, free from the shackles of demons. While Final Gambit doesn't KO Iron Hands because, oh my gosh, it has so much HP, it's a free switch still into T-Hawk, who finishes the low-health Iron Hands off with a wing attack. Finally is Turo's terrifying Iron Valiant, whose booster energy gives the thing sky-high attack. We have several options for this, but I know my starter Pokemon better than anyone. He was feeling left out for quite a while and didn't even make the cut for the Elite 14, but Hawk the Flamigod refuses to be left out of the spotlight any longer. He wears his Focus Sash with pride. Unending is his spirit even in the face of Iron Valiant. Our hero terastallizes into a flying type to prove his resolve. He endures a spirit break that puts him below half, and then it happens. Hawk reaches toward the sky and becomes the bravest bird you all will ever witness in your short lives, all to claim victory for his allies and shine brightly for his own self-worth. Iron Valiant stood no chance, but one other is also not standing. Our friend, our amigo, Hawk is... You were supposed to save the fake death for the after credits scene, but this game writes the stakes and character moments itself and I can't handle it, especially when you consider that I only lived because of terastallization, but the original plan to take out Iron Jugulis was to terastallize Ken after sacking Q, so that whole missing air slash saved 2 of my Pokemon, if you think about it, which is utterly insane. I'm going off script here, but oh my gosh, that's insane. Well, I don't think Turo is ready for a retake, so we'll cut the film there. Turo is defeated, and that's the final victory for our brawling squad in this fighting type only Nuzlocke. 2 types completed so far, and this one was really a joy. I played very stupidly early on, and that even extended toward the mid-game, which is a trend I'm noticing, but I want to improve that specifically in the future. I'm hoping someday to do a video of every monotype Nuzlocke, and I'll definitely need to learn how to just EV train right away and not be lazy to stand a chance in certain challenges. That's especially for the current plan I got right now, but who knows if that'll even happen, so I won't say anything for what that run is. Anyway, basic hopes that you all enjoyed the video inserted here. Praise the God King, the Flamigoat, Thunderhawk the living legend, and I wish y'all a fantastic day. Thank you very much for watching.